श्रीमद् परम पूज्यपाद आचार्य देव श्री श्री दादा पूजनीय बिंदुदा पूजनीय बोधि my esteemed pious ardent devotees of Sri Thakur, loving mothers, brothers in faith, small children. What a divine moment that we are experiencing at this point in time. In the Indian Space Research Organization's Community Center, there is this beautiful gathering to celebrate the bliss that all of us have been experiencing by being in tune with the living ideal, our supreme ideal, Param Brahma Sri Sri Thakur. In this center of science, when we talk about the space science, if somebody like me who does not know anything about astronomy looks at the skies in the night, what can I see? I will see millions of stars in the sky, absolutely scattered, unstructured, without any order. What would a researcher, a scientist, a knowledgeable person who has knowledge in the field of astronomy, what he is going to see? When he is looking at the sky, he is going to see structure and order, absolute order. But when I am looking at the skies, I can see the stars are scattered all over the place. There's no order. Someone is big, someone is small, someone is glowing more, someone is glowing less. There is no order. But a man who understands astronomy will see the order in the midst of chaos. So similarly, he who doesn't understand life, when he looks at life, can only see absolute chaos. But somebody who understands life, who knows life, who has experienced life, who has understood the meaning of life, can see absolute bliss, absolute structure, absolute order. So my dear mothers and brothers in faith, how do we gain that knowledge of life? If we need to gain the knowledge of life, what do we need to do? Let's reflect a little bit more about this life itself. The human life is extremely valuable. When the man and woman unite, man releases millions of sperms, and there's only one sperm which is accepted by the female ovum, only one. Every other sperm which is not accepted is a potential human being. Millions of human lives are sacrificed just to create one life. So that establishes the fact how valuable, how precious the human life is. And the life that we're talking about, this life has three aspects. There is something called the changing aspects of life. Things which are changing all the time. I was a child, I grew, I become an adolescent, I grew, I became a youth, I became an old man, and then finally I died. So, in all these aspects of my life, there is physical changes in my body, there are changes in my appearance, the changes in my behavior, the changes in my mannerisms, and so on. These are called the changing aspects of life. And Sri Sri Thakur is saying, the second aspect of life is the unchanging aspect of life. So I was a child, I grew up, become a young man, I grew up, become an old man, but throughout my life, through all the changes that have happened in my life, there was something that never changed. That is my sense of existence. My sense of existence. When I was a child, I knew that I exist. When I became a youth, I knew that I exist. When I became an old man, I knew that I exist. My sense of existence was there with me all the time, which was the unchanging aspect of life. That doesn't change, my sense of existence. And Sri Thakur says, that there is a transcending aspect of life, which is the third aspect. While there are things which are changing in my body, things which are changing in my mannerisms, in my personality, in my behavior, and so on. And as I live my life, when I ask myself who I am, where I have come from, what is the purpose of my life, why do I live a life, I don't have an answer. I don't know what is that. I'm living a life. I was a child, I became a young man, I become an old man, but I really don't know why did I live my life, what is the purpose of my life, why have I come here. And when I reflect back on my life, I see what I have achieved. And when we look at this world today, and when we look at the human life, every single human being probably is treating life in a manner where he doesn't know what is the purpose of his life. I was recently in the Indian Institute of Management. There was a seminar. When I was entering the campus, I found there was a big signboard there, and it says that the best student who got the placement from Indian Institute of Management has got a salary. He has been selected by a company in the United States of America for an annual salary of 1 crore rupees. For an annual salary of 1 crore rupees. And I looked at it. I said, is this the measuring rod of human success? Is this the value of human success? Is the success of a human being measured in terms of money? If you look around, and then if you look at the painter, a painter's success is measured by how many $1 million that painting fetched him. When you look at sports person, you find out how many, when you look at this IPL tournament which is going on, you see how many US dollars these guys have been sold for. So the success of the human life today is measured in terms of money. Sri Thakur is saying, life is not a business to be managed. Life is a mystery to be lived. Life is a challenge to be experienced and faced. Sri Thakur is saying, life has a purpose to live for. And Sri Thakur is saying that the purpose of human life is to realize the Supreme Father in our material existence in this world. So let's imagine what has happened to this society. When Sri Thakur set up his ashram in Deoghar, and surrounding the ashram, many people, many devotees came to Sri Thakur to have his darshan. Thousands of people came. And surrounding the ashram, many other establishments came up. There were shops, there were hospitals, there were post offices, many other things that came up. Some devotees one day was talking to Sri Thakur, and then they said, Thakur, after you set up this ashram in Deoghar city has become a Mahanagari. It is becoming a city. Sri Thakur said, Mahanagari se mujhe milega kya? Mujhe Mahanagari chahiye. What do I get out of a big city? I need great citizens. I need great human beings who can live like human beings in this life. I do not want a big city or a metropolitan city. I want good human beings. So what is happening to this human life? What is happening today? The human life, which is the most precious, is riddled with problems. Is struggling for survival. Is struggling for peace and happiness. Is in pursuit of that elusive happiness which is probably not coming. When each one of us look at ourselves, when we look at our family life, our social life, our professional life, our national life, we feel there is some vacuum somewhere, there is some gap somewhere, something that we are trying to fulfill, but we are not finding an answer. So where does that the problem lie? Where is the problem? There was a man who went to a doctor, and then he said, Doctor, I think there is something wrong with my wife. Most likely, she has become deaf. She is not able to hear clearly. But I am not very sure, doctor. How do I know that? And what medicine should be prescribed for my wife? I believe that she is slowly becoming deaf. The doctor said, you are not sure? The man said, no, I am not sure. He said, okay, go back home today. and then ask her a question about 50 meters away from where she is. And if she's not able to listen, she can't hear you, then you know probably she's about 20% deaf. But go a little closer, about 40 meters, and call her again and then ask her something. If she cannot hear you, then probably she's 40% deaf. Then, if possible, go about close 10 or 20 meters near her and ask her a question. If she can't hear you, then probably she's almost 80% deaf. Then go next to her and ask her. And if she cannot hear you, then she's almost 100% deaf. So the man said, let me experiment this way. She went back home and then she shouted out at his wife and said, wife, what have you prepared for food today? No response. So then she went a little closer. Then asked, my dear wife, what have you prepared for lunch? No response. So he was really worried. He thought my wife is almost 40% deaf. She went even closer and then asked, what have you prepared for lunch today? No response. So he was very, very worried. He thought my wife is almost 80% deaf. And she went very close to her, near her, stood next to her and asked her, what have you prepared for lunch today? The wife said, honey, I have already replied to you 5 times that I have prepared paneer sabji for lunch today. Paneer butter masala. 5 times I have already replied to you. And the man realized who is there, whether he himself or his wife. So this is the condition of the human society today. The human society, every single human being is going out and searching for who is the cause of my problem. Is my parents, is my brothers, my neighbor, is my teacher who did not teach me well, is my parents who did not send me to the best school, it's my colleagues in my profession at the workplace who did not really help me prosper in my career. Everybody else is a problem. I am perfect. I am alright. Everybody else is a problem. So that is the true reality of the human society. Every human being thinks, I am alright. Everybody else is alright. Mr. Thakur said, the practice of dharma, spirituality starts with myself. When I start with the soul searching, when I start with my own introspection, and when I start with that inquisitive mind, try to find out what I can do better to become a better human being, that's where the journey begins. So when we talk about the human life today, which is riddled with many problems, there are many imbalances in life, and we are not really finding happiness. Sri Thakur is saying, finding happiness is absolutely easy. It's so simple to find happiness. And a devotee is asking, Thakur, I have gone to every single place, every possible place to find happiness, but I am not finding it. And he was saying, it's easy. Thakur said, yes. Give happiness to others, you will become happy yourself. Give peace to others in abundance, you will find peace in abundance. Make others happy and peaceful, you will become happy and peaceful yourself. So Thakur's philosophy is about being interested in the other person's happiness. As my brother Ridos Bhai was talking about, how can I serve others? How can I serve my environment? When I become interested in the interest of other people in my neighborhood, people in my society, my own interest will be fulfilled. Then I will find happiness. Thakur is saying, when you really see that you have been deep in the middle of problems, just do one thing. Try and find somebody in your neighborhood who has many problems. Try and solve his problems. You will see that your problems are fixed. This is Sri Thakur. Nobody else in this world will tell you that when you are in problems, you solve others' problems. Some devotee came to Thakur, said, Thakur, you are always saying, help others, do something for others, serve others. But I myself have so many problems. I am really deep in the middle of problems. How can I serve others? I cannot do that. Please don't ask us to help others. Please help me find solutions to my problems. Thakur said, no problems. But are you willing to serve me? The devotee said, oh yes, yes, Thakur. For you I can do anything. But don't ask me to serve anybody else. I am willing to serve you. Thakur said, no problem. Serve me. You don't have to serve anybody else. Then Thakur says, you are for the Lord, not for others. You are for the Lord and so for others. Because when you start loving me and serving me, you will be bound to serve everybody else because I am reflected in everybody else. I am reflected in this whole universe. And then helping others and serving others will become spontaneous in you. That will become a spontaneous character. You don't have to do it. Now you're feeling uncomfortable because you feel constrained and forced to serve others. But serving others becomes natural in you. When it becomes spontaneous in you, then you will not have any. That is just how. So when we have in this scientific community where there are many people who understood science very well, who are extremely and highly educated, and I really don't have to talk more about this human life. But all of us know that this big universe, many scientists have said, is like a machine, is a big machine. And this universe, like every other machine, follows a set of rules. This universe also follows a set of rules and regulations. And for every single machine, we need an operator to operate the machine. Similarly, to run this machine called universe, we also need an operator, regulator, who can start this machine, run it, operate it, and then stop it whenever he wants to. And all of us, all that we need to do is be aligned to that operator, that regulator, that maintainer who controls this machine. And in this universe, there is another very interesting, unique machine that is born itself, and that grows, and that produces of its own kind, and one day it disappears. That is the human anatomy. And this human anatomy is such a powerful, precious machine that human being needs to be aligned to a controller, needs to be aligned to somebody who is far superior to himself, far superior to this universe. This human being needs to surrender to somebody, a living ideal, an ideal who comes in human form, whom man can see, feel and understand. The greatest scientist, one of the greatest scientists of our times, Alex Carroll, he says that man cannot understand abstractions. If I say that I was walking on the road, I saw an animal, it is very difficult for somebody who is listening to me to understand. If I say that I came here by vehicle, it's very difficult to understand. Unless I say that I saw a cat or I saw a tiger, unless I say that I came by an Innova Toyota car, it is very difficult for human beings to visualize and conceptualize. Human beings cannot conceive abstractions. So, infinite God has to come in the form which is not abstract, which can be understood, which can be felt. So, Alex Carroll, the famous scientist, is saying that it is very difficult to follow the commandments of this universe if we do not consider this as the command of our personal God. So it's very difficult to follow the universal law, the law of the universe, if man does not consider that to be the command of the personal God. So we need a personal God who can listen to us, who can hear us, who can respond to us, who can love us. So we need a personal God, a God in human form, the infinite God, coming in the form of the human form, in flesh and blood. And when he comes, he is called fulfiller of prayer. In our scriptures, in our mythology, he is called Purushottam, fulfiller.